Famous person Tiffany here. I'm on my way to work. It's Friday, so that's good. I was supposed to drop off my rent on the way to work, but I missed the exit for that because I was watching Zach's latest video. Well, I was listening to Zach's latest video on loneliness, and it really drew me in. I wanted to talk a little bit about loneliness for me as an ENTP, and I don't know how much of it's unique to me and how much of it is an ENTP thing, but I identified with a lot of the things you said, Zach. Mainly, the big difference for me was you said that loneliness didn't mean that you weren't, you didn't have, people available to you. You just didn't necessarily have the right people available to you. Well, for me, loneliness doesn't even mean that I'm not around people and socializing with people. I'm going to tie this into something Eric said in one of his videos, where he was talking about how he loved being able to be the one that was the one that was called. He didn't have to call people. People called him. And that the opposite of that is kind of what loneliness is for me. When I'm lonely, I can usually find someone to do something with, but it's usually a lot of effort on my part, and it's always very, very evident to me that there's no one out there that just wants to do something with me. I know that's not true. There are plenty of people out there that want to do things with me, but a lot of the time it feels that way. When you're always the one initiating activities, and you have a very small group of friends. You have very high standards for people, so you want more friends, but you don't want shitty friends. I don't know. I have my fiance, and I love her very much. She kind of keeps me going when I get into those lonely moods. But loneliness is a big factor for me even now, even though I'm in very social environments very often. It doesn't hit me as often anymore. But when I think about the fact that I don't really have any good friends left. Now, when I say that, I don't mean I don't have any really good friends. I've acquired some really good friends throughout my life, and they're all still really good friends. But they're all people that I've moved away from, or have moved away from me, or we've grown apart in some fashion. And even if I consider them one of my best friends still, and even if I'm still keeping in touch with them, and I still love them very deeply in that best friend kind of way, it's not the same. It's not someone I see. It's not someone that can help fill that loneliness void. The type of people throughout my life that have been able to consistently pull me out of that, other than my fiance, have all kind of left my life, and I don't really have any friends that I'm not in an intimate, love relationship with that do that for me, and it's difficult. I want more friends. I want more close friends. I can make acquaintances. I can be sociable at work. I can even express an interest to a certain degree to want to socialize with my coworkers outside of work. But none of them take the hint, so to speak. I haven't been invited to one outside of work event with anyone, and part of that's my fault. I mean, I gotta be more. I gotta put myself out there more. I can't just kind of wait for someone else to invite me to something. That's foolish. But that's kind of at the same time where the depression comes from. I want people to just come to me. I want to be the cool kid that I never was. I talked in another video about how I was bullied in school. And I always wanted to be that cool kid that everyone else tried to hang out with, and that then decided who got to hang out with them. I don't want to be that elitist and jerky about it or anything. I want more people to want to be around me. And that's kind of what loneliness feels like for me, at least at this stage in my life. It's looked a lot more like host Zachary's version of loneliness. Not quite, but more similar in my earlier years and before I had a partner. Before I had a partner that I loved, that kind of kept me sane when I was going insane, I was in a very dark place. Now that I think about it, I didn't socialize with really anyone outside of random people on the internet that I could completely detach from with the click of a button. And it was really a dark time. It was very similar to the kind of the thing that Zachary described, except for me I had a few different people that I constantly tried to spend time with, my quote-unquote friends. The best one of which stabbed me in the back not long after. But it was just always a constant struggle to find someone to spend time with. And when I inevitably couldn't find someone to spend time with, I spent time with my computer. And it was just a very dark, depressing time. I smoked a lot of cigarettes. I'm bad right now, but I was really bad then. And I was smoking those Marlboro Blacks. It was tearing my throat apart. And I lived in an apartment with a guy that smoked inside, so it was just a nasty, disgusting, cigarette smoky den of disgustingness. And I had my computer in the corner, and it was my little cave of grossness. And I finally kind of started putting myself out there in a way that I normally wouldn't, that was kind of against my pattern. And things changed almost instantly. And I met my fiancée, and within a week we were going out. And I proposed to her on our our 1 year anniversary. And it's been a really bumpy ride. But the hardcore loneliness ended there. And it scares me because of the idea of, what if it doesn't work? Is everything going to come crashing down? And you're going to be lonely again and have, you don't want to rely, you don't want to put all your emotional stability on one person. That's way too much responsibility for one person, first of all. It's not fair to that person. That's a huge burden. And it's a burden I feel guilty about often putting on my fiancée. She has enough problems. She doesn't need all my problems on top of them. Needless to say, I really don't like to think about, what if it doesn't work out? Because as far as I'm concerned, we're meant for each other, and it's going to work out eventually. That in reality may or may not be true, but I believe 100% 100% that it is, so that keeps me away from that train of thought most of the time. But I don't try to keep away from my train of thought. That sounded weird. What I don't try to stay away from thinking about is the fact that I oftentimes put all my, my fiance is someone I can lean on, and she's great at being there for me and being my rock, but I gotta remember that she has her own issues, and I need to find people that I can lean on too, so I don't always have to lean on her. This has kind of turned from a response to Zachary's loneliness video into a little self-therapy session, so I don't know, but I do that a lot. I also will. This is an ENTP thing. This is manipulating people in a way that I really shouldn't. And at this point, I think she knows about it, because she's not stupid. She's fed up with it. I don't blame her. If she's having a bad time, or having problems, going through shit, I'm going to emphasize and maximize my problems and try and put her into her kind of caregiver mode where her problems go away so she can help me with mine. I haven't done it recently. In fact, I haven't done it in a while. We talked about it, sort of, during a fight. And I've been better. But I do that shit subconsciously a lot of the time. And I gotta catch myself, because it's not fair.